Hi everybody, it's Keren here from tuppencecoloured.co.uk. Thank you very much for joining me today. This is today's card. It's a very quick and simple one, and stay with me and I'll show you how I made it. These are the things that I'm using to make my card today. This is Daffodil Delight, and I've cut it at 11.5 inches by 4 inches, and I've scored and folded it at 5 3/4 to make my card base. This is a piece of watercolour paper. Now, although it's called watercolour paper, it's actually quite like a card. It's very robust, and I've cut this to 3 3/4 by 5.5. I've got another little scrap of watercolour paper, which is, around 1 3/4, 2 inches square. I'm going to be stamping using basic black ink, and I'm using the window shopping stamps. Going to be doing some colouring with some of the watercolour pencils, and I've got Calypso Coral, Daffodil Delight, Pumpkin Pie and Real Red. Got nice warm colours. I'm going to be using this die, which is the second to smallest of the squares in the stitched shapes framelets, and I'm also using this die from the window box die set, and that's the one that looks like a group of candles. I'm going to be starting by doing some stamping, and I'm using this stamp which says Make a Wish from the window shopping set, and I'm also using my MISTI, my stamp positioner, and I've gone ahead and mounted my stamp up onto the clear plate of my MISTI. Now, the reason why I'm using this is because watercolour card is textured, and it may take me more than one attempt to get a clear image. So the stamp positioner, the MISTI, helps me do that. So I'm inking up my stamp as well as I can. I'm just going to wipe that little bit off there because I don't want that getting anywhere I don't want it to, and I'm just going to press down. Now, these stamp positioners are starting to be produced by a number of different companies, and basically you pay your money and you take your choice. I happen to have the MISTI. I treated myself one month. I had a good sales month, and actually that has come out quite well. I'm quite happy with that, so I'm going to leave that alone, and I'm going to move on to the next step. Gone and done a bit of preparation work ahead of time, and I've used these two dies, and I started by cutting out the candles in a scrap of watercolour card, and then I cut that out using the stitched shapes framelit, and this is not the smallest one, it's the next to smallest one, and I went ahead and did that ahead of time, and this is what I got coming out. Now, I've gone ahead again to save a bit of time, and I've mounted some little tiny scraps of dimensional on the back of it because I want that raised. But just for now, I'm just going to use it to help me decide where I want to colour. So I'm going to take the Daffodil Delight watercolour pencil, and I'm just going to lay that roughly where I want my my candles to go, and I'm just going to just put a little mark there and there. Okay, and down at the bottom here I'm just going to do a little line in Real Red, and that will give me an idea of where I want to lay my colours down. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take my watercolour pencils, and I'm just going to do some colouring. And I'm holding the pencil quite flat to the watercolour paper, and I'm going outside the lines that I drew, but not a massive amount. So the next colour I've got is the Pumpkin Pie, and I'm going to mix in some of that a little bit lower down, and Calypso Coral, and some Real Red down at the bottom here. Okay. And I'm going to add a bit more Daffodil Delight around the outside, all the way around, because I want a kind of outer glow around the outside of the card, and in fact I'll give everything some Daffodil Delight. Right, So now I've got a water brush, and if I can get the top off it, and make sure that the water is flowing. It's nice and flowy, and I'm just going to go over the top of what I just coloured and blend the colours together. And I'm going to take that up onto the card, around the outside, down onto the card, and I've got a piece of paper towel here, and I'm just going to, around the edges, just going to blot that. I'm not going to do too much because wherever I blot, I'm going to take away some of the colour. Just want to soften it a little bit. Okay. Now, watercolour paper works well for this because it's very, very strong, and it's meant to be to have water on it. So if you tried this with something like a Whisper White, it probably won't work as well. Once you put the water on it, it can start to break down. So, but watercolour card is perfect, and so is shimmering white. Shimmering white works very well also. So I'm going to give that a little while to dry, and then I'm going to come back and finish assembling the card. That's had plenty of time to dry, and I did go back in with the Daffodil Delight and the Calypso Coral pen. 3, 2, 1. This has had time to dry. I did go back with the Daffodil Delight and the Calypso Coral just to intensify those colours a little bit. And now I'm going to stick this down onto the front of my card. Now I'm using tearing tape for this because I was in a hurry and I used my my heat gun to speed up the drying process, and it's left the card slightly warped. So I want a good strong adhesive that will make it lie flat, that will make it behave itself. Okay. Oops, that was clever. Pulled half the backing tape off and then put it back on again. Well done. Yeah, that's onto its backing, and now I'm going to bring back my die cut piece. Now I'm going to add a little bit of extra bling to this. I didn't think of this right at the beginning when I was setting out my supplies, but I've got my gold Wink of Stella pen here, and I think I'm going to put a little bit of gold bling just around the outside of these candle flames here. Just a little bit, just to zhuzh it up a little bit. Okay. So now I'm going to take the back off my bits of dimensional, and what I've used are the pieces from around the edges here. Bits that you get left when you've used up most of the dimensionals, because you can use every scrap of your dimensionals. There is no waste, unless like me you accidentally stick them down onto something that you don't want them to stick to, because that happens. And I'm just going to pop these into place. And there you go. There is my completed card. Now, if I'm 100% honest, I'm not absolutely thrilled with the way the gold Wink of Stella came out around those candle flames. If I was doing this again, I would probably either just leave it as it was, or possibly use clear Wink of Stella. But you know, everything's a learning experience, and you know, next time I'll do it differently. But I hope you've enjoyed this video anyway, and if so, then please do comment, like, share, and even subscribe to my channel, because I will be posting more videos very, very soon. If you want to show me what you've been up to, I'd really love to see it, and you can do that by popping over to my Facebook page and posting a picture there for me. But for now, thank you very, very much for joining me.